Hello, hello, hello. This is now Sunday, March 3rd, 2024. This is now Mohammed Shilon coming to you now from the great state of North Carolina. And my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot, who will be joining me from the great county of Surrey, England. And we get some trending or hot topics that we would like to discuss, or topics of national interest, topics where they affect we all. And so then topics then they nothing we not only the trend meaning the day and steady flow, like electricity or like way river they run. It has to go steady. And or like anything else. So we then change and they not seem like then the end. If it's one thing after another. It was not too long ago where we get the Tarawali clerk of parliament scandal. And then we try for deal with that situation there for say, if we're really serious about, we're fooling ourselves and we're joking, if we think, say, the problem is solved by the president stepping in, which someone like me argue, say, the president don't forget anything for do it, then they'll craft the system in the wrong way and they don't go in the right way. Then now we get the boss issue, which was a big hoopla about, where the 50 bosses them, the routing of the bosses them, the restrictions placed on other drivers them of other means of transportation, and the inability of the one that were in charge for solve the problem, which was preventable, whether before not before allow for. It was preventable because it was foreseeable. You can see and down the line saying that could happen. So now we also now get the airport tax increase, where I think, if I'm not mistaken, may have already gone into effect this March, starting a couple of days ago or 3 days ago. And then to make it worse, we'll get a toll booth or toll gate issue, where also supposedly should have begun March 4th or 1st, which has become an issue that is in suspension. The airport situation and the toll situation, they are very similar. They are similar in many ways, then characteristics are the same, almost. And then as it also reflects the, I would say, lack of competence on the part of the government. Or if it's not competence, which I'm not convinced of, I'm not convinced that we government officials them, with all them big degrees here, are that incompetent. No, they are not. I have the feeling, and this is just my humble opinion, that these guys know what they're doing. They're just selfish, looking out for themselves. National interest be damned. And are waiting good for them, whose deal they could do on the corner or in the corner, now that nobody interested in. Because some of the things that we will discuss and what people are already they holler about, we're not going to say, no way. Even if you take a bunch of from 3 picking and you give them the policy for make, then we'll come out with a better result. So these guys cannot be that ignorant. So we'll get for deal with the toll business. And so make me stop there. Make I turn it over to me co-host, who has tremendously impressive knowledge about parliamentary procedure, about transportation, experience in having been a consultant for a variety of projects in different parts of Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Sierra Leone, and many places. A man I think say we're government for the listen to, but we are against, I think, what you may see, and not only this government, even the outgoing government, the previous government, expertise is their enemy. They don't want experts. They want pretenders. People that will come, then say they write 2-3 books, they don't know which in the talk about, then pay them big money, particularly foreigners, Then put together all them committees here. Nobody on the committee knows what he or she is talking about, and then in the end everything fails. Then they say, "Oh, not criticize government, not be critical of government." So make a turn on over. The two main topics that we will get for deal with. Now the airports increase and the toll increase. Now the Maishaka highway or road. So back to you, Mr. Over to you, Mr. Mengot.
Well, thank you very much, Brother Mohammed. And Fambulem, in a good day or good evening, wherever you did. As my co-host don't say, Mina Victor Akumengot, and Mina possibly, I know a lot about these topics that we can discuss about now. Now we talk about, today in a trending news, we talk about the airports and the toll road. They come under two different governments. So, but they get a lot of similarities. One, the two projects then are what you can call in project management terms BOT, which means build, operate, and transfer. It means say government, they go seek loan. The people that will go seek loan to them, they say, okay, we'll begin at the loan, but we'll go build the airport or establish the toll gates for over a certain period. We'll go recover with money plus interest and manage them. And both projects also, now 25 years, the one the way they run them, get for take part and operator before they get into a country. And also, for now attract the investors, yeah, we can get sweeteners like tax concession, and also now then they collect the majority of the amount over a period, like in the case of the toll gates, for the first 10 years, we only get about 10% of the proceeds. Similar arrangements there for the airport. So now we'll throw light into this and see how we they go sign them contract here, who are the manager, how they benefit the people then. Because all them here is guided by the laws them of the country, where we refer explain to family. And also, anybody who can operate in our country, they get for go by we own law them. And the way we they craft them contract here, now we the benefits or they benefit the people the way they come. So now that's one talk. So let me go back to adding back to the lead presenter. We will now telling her how we go interact in terms of the usual number the way we get for call, what's in our rules of engagement, and what to expect from in terms of mutual respect. We beg for differ, but not be courteous. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mengot. On the issue, let me also remind listeners them, some of them already know, that there are certain contact numbers them for which we, depending on where you're calling from. And of course, there is one universal number, one of the WhatsApp number. But if you call from North America, as I always can tell people, North America, for purposes of this broadcasting, it restricted to United States, Canada, and Mexico. So if you are in any of these countries and you are interested in participating in this particular topic and you want to call and make suggestions or ask questions, the number you will call, there's a toll-free number. The toll-free number is only for people in North America, now within the sphere of Mexico, Canada, and the United States. So you can call 1-866-944-7722. 1-866-944-7722. If you call from the United Kingdom, England, then you can call a local number where you could call, you not get for pay for, and you will be able to reach we. Now plus the sign, the plus sign, 44 2080891455 plus 44 2080891455. If you are calling from Australia, likewise, we're not for cost you. It may not be all over Australia, but most likely around the Sydney area. You will call plus 61 2909 84 337. Plus 61 2909 84 337. The universal number, as I mentioned, regardless of whose partner the world you date, for be able to reach we, you will call 1-343 997 5828. 1-343 997 5828. So if you call that, regardless of whose partner the world, whether you did Salon, Germany, England, Mexico, America, you call our number there, you for be able to reach we if it's not busy. And we also have a radio station in Freetown. And sometimes, so if you can access we. For now, my understanding is if you go here clearer or better in the eastern part of Freetown. But we're trying to get a wider range so people all over Freetown and the western area in particular, or in general, can be reached. So that radio station, they number on 91.9 FM. 91.9 FM. In addition to the areas there I don't name to now, then we're carried live, or we are carried on YouTube, we are carried on Instagram, and we are carried on Facebook. So when I can send comments them on Facebook and some of the other media there where they give the number two. So also I want to let the audience know, say, as soon as I finish my introduction, when we start doing the topic, if anybody, any listener or caller get any question, please don't hesitate to call. You don't have to wait until we finish making analysis before you call. Call, and we'll go stop in between for listening to which you get to say address and move on. So the lines will be open as soon as discussion starts. So feel free to call, and from time to time I would remind you now to say the lines are open. So that said, let me just ask my co-host. I think he and I had discussed it. We'll start with the airport situation, just like we say, because we get a situation where we get increases on both transportation issues or matter in the country, and then two avenues here that impact the economy. So make we ask if the government, they approach it wisely. And as Mr. Mengot said, some of the arrangement here for just show the uniformity or the one kind way of government or brothers them to think, and the one kind way we make some of we the think say APC and SFPP no difference. It does sound like using the Yom Kippur example, Alassane and Alusan, but then Ochuna brother, one mami, most likely one day. So APC, SFPP, then Alassane and Alusan. I don't think we're going to get much from them two parties here, but then we'll deal with for right now. So we'll move on with them as things are. So I think me and Mr. Mengot agree, say, let's start with the airport situation. And Mr. Mengot, if I'm wrong, correct me, please. That would be...
No, you're on track.
Okay. So one thing where people don't know, the people don't make much noise about. Now, the increase of airport tax will take place where people are not complaining about, because it not affect people as much, or it not affect as many people, or it not touch as many people as the toll gate or the toll. So what thing they happen, because the airport thing get for do with people already fly in and out, mostly like we were there abroad and foreigners, which I think is a terrible way for craft policy, because the people already bring in revenue, their interests are not being looked into. And we will also tell, because of the bad policy implementation and bad financial arrangements we make with international organizations, then we are losing revenue to Guinea and Liberia, because everybody who knows anything about traveling now, and the trend in Sierra Leone, people are coming through Guinea and Liberia and come by road into Sierra Leone because it's cheaper, much cheaper, flying from any part of the world, coming into Guinea and come by sea or by road to Freetown or anywhere in Sierra Leone, than it is for flying into the country. Because for some reason, something tell we government people and for say, the only way you raise revenue now for tax and tax and tax, But there are times when economically, sometimes in Creole they say, quick penny better pass slow 1 shilling. Or some people don't know what's 1 shilling. So let me just say, a quick 1 cent go give you more earnings than a quick 1 leone, or a slow 1 leone. I'm sure, slow 1 leone. So when they try to make money for tax people there, but in the process, we are discouraging people then from flying into a country. And as a result, the beneficiaries them are Guinea, particularly in Liberia. So we therefore deal with that. Let people understand how we policymakers them, either they don't get any respect for we, they just think so they can come because they're in power, they can just come and run roughshod over the rest of us by just telling we anything and expect we for buying to it, or they just don't know what they're doing. And sometimes it's kind of hard to tell, because we see that with the disappearance of the former governor of the central bank, Kefala Kalon. This is somebody who supposedly, and I believe, was a professor here in the United States, taught economics, but he just was not able to run the central bank. But you see, the thing is not that this is not a well-educated man, but he was just the wrong person for the job, because not to in specialty that one day, not to in specialty. So when they get that job there, as a political patronage, as a political favor, not as somebody is capable of making an improvement to the overall running of the government, that's what happens. And again, callers are welcome to call in and correct me, because the governor, for all I know, may still be the disappeared or the disappearing governor of the central bank, for all I know, may still be on the payroll, because he was never fired. When I say he resigned, when I say he go into retirement, he just disappear. Okay, so these are bad signs for the country. It's about time we begin put the right people in the right position. Stop being fascinated by diploma, degree on the wall. Let this person, just like President Kennedy say, ask not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country. When you get that university degree there, or that professional degree there, and who then are the team leader, who is the president at the time, ask yourself, why am I appointing this person? Now, because he contributes to my campaign? Now, because we go to the same high school, secondary school? Now, because I know we're all coming at the same neighborhood? Now, because I'm a tribesman? Or because based on in credentials, in paper achievement, in diplomas, any experience, this is someone who definitely will make a difference in the economy and in the government. I think those are the criteria that the presidents would look at. Now you can do some subtle appointments, then we will get any impact for political favor. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, you can appoint people as ambassadors, but when you come to then sensitive position, if you're really serious about making a country move forward, forget competent, able, people, and that not for be based on familiarity. It will be based on knowledge. Okay, so let me just say we are going to 1 second, please. Let me. Okay, I'm told that Professor Calon was replaced in 5-year term expired, so he has been replaced. So let's leave it at that at the moment. Okay, so going back, so let me go to the airport situation, because as far as we know, an increase in taxes at the airport went up just recently, mostly unnoticed by the public. So we will therefore deal with that. If Mr. Mengot, who has tremendous knowledge and expertise in aviation, and some of them government contract here, I probably get a few questions for him, where I hopefully think say go answer for we. So, Mr. Mengot, if you don't mind, if I may ask you some questions, of course, if you want for put a preamble before you answer any question, that would be fine.
Yeah, I think say I will put a preamble before we answer this, before we come to the question.
Okay,
see,
may I let you
deal with
let me let you take over now, then.
Okay, since we deal with these two loans, them for let family know, in we constitution, it sort of explain how governments for enter into the contract here. And me and Maui get long experience in parliamentary procedures and rules. And when I talk now, I would like to make reference to we laws them, because every country is governed by we laws them. And even in that treaty here and the agreement who they sign, there's always a clause where say anybody who they sign that agreement they with, therefore adhere to the laws of we land. So, section 118 of we constitution now show how government for enter into agreement for either give loan from the consolidated fund, which I mean now, like say government will give loan to somebody for do something, or receive loan. In this case, we talk about government, they receive a loan from an external partner. In the case of the airport, now the Suma group of companies were based in Turkey, but we know say originally they started from Russia, although this is not a Turkish company. Now make it clear. So, for now we go into the loan and they waiting the law say, section 2, subsection 2 of 118 say, we not for enter into any agreement of any nature without that agreement say no go first na parliament and let parliament look them and approve them through a resolution. What do they mean by through a resolution? A resolution means say they go put all the documents before parliament. The speaker and the clerk go arrange time where all the parliamentarians they go look into that agreement. Then they go look at whether the agreement they go benefit the country. And if you get any restriction, if they get for make amendment, then that time they go make amendment, then they vote by a resolution. That resolution they means say a majority of parliamentarians at the time. So now so get for approval. But before we reach that stage, if government won't go into any agreement, now make sure we get legal advisors then. We go advise the government then because when they draft the agreement, now the two parties then they sit down come together and say, Lord, get this agreement. So we also get for get lawyer, then say get for get lawyer. So when they don't get that draft agreement, they then get for take and go parliament now. Parliament go look into and discuss them. If they get for make any amendment, they make the amendment, they go amend and then bring and come back before parliament will say, yes, this agreement is in the interest of both parties. But now the same process for the toll road, now the same process for the airport. But what you cannot find out, say, we don't find out, say, sometimes they cannot go sign the agreement here and say, okay, let's bring it to Parliament, let Parliament can approve. That's the wrong way around. So we can forget we rules rights. So down then at the commonality. And also, when we get an agreement here, Parliament get right for they review them. Once the international agreement, now that makes sure we get oversight committee them, then departmental committee under parliamentary regulation, who they call standing order. Standing order number 72 say we forget each ministry and department get a committee where now they oversee what's in the happen. Like in this case, now for the airport, you will get the transport committee, transport. You will get the Ministry of Transport and Aviation. Now then for the look at them. And then for the get annual reports and details where Parliament go for scrutinize. In the case of the toll road, now the Ministry of Works and Public Assets. And one of the things will come out from this inquiry for the toll road, we'll deal with that later on. Since they signed the agreement in 2017, there's never been any report or statistics presented to Parliament. Password get wahala, 1990 Canada. So these are the rules of the game. This is how government for enter into agreement, how they forget the contract, and how the contract for approve. So now the commonality between the two. So I think I don't set the procedure for do that, then I can able to respond to any answer question we get about the increase here when they bring come for the airport.
All right, sir. Now, before we get into that, just listening to you telling, we waiting at the situation, I just had some questions and just jump up in my mind. We talk about the speaker and the clerk go engage and set up some parliamentary committee for look into some of the aspects there, like then tax increases here. Well, doesn't this go back to what you will be talk about, the conflict of interest? Because here you have the speaker, who is head of the legislature, who by all means should not be accountable to the executive, working hand in hand with an appointee of the executive, who is the clerk of parliament, for pass legislations then. So if you get an arm of the president or the presidency or the executive working with the legislature in that manner there for come up with one intended result, where is the guarantee that the speaker, the clerk of the house will not be acting as a messenger for the president? Because the clerk of the house is an appointee of the president. So,
okay,
so
before you go further, let me make something say there's not more, because when you look at how Parliament they operate, the clerk is the administrator and the head of administration.
Appointed by the president. I mean, your main thing.
Appointed by the president. Yes.
Happen. Okay.
Yeah, we all know that. But in your role, now for make sure say, it service all the committees and the speaker, nine at the head. But when it comes to scrutiny, you get different committees in the house. Within committee, then they set them at the beginning of each parliament. We get the committees that what they call like the standing orders committee. You get committee where they do with government business. You get committee where they deal with public appointments. You get committee where they deal with things to do with the audited reports and all. But the other committee, then we in England or in Sierra Leone can call departmental select committee. Now, each ministry gets a committee where for oversee the work of that ministry. Not just the ministry and the departmental agency under that ministry. So let's give, for example, Ministry of Transport. You get the main ministry, they get agencies the way they under the Ministry of Transport. We like the Sierra Leone Road Transport, Road Safety Authority. Now one of the agencies we under the Ministry of Transport. you get the Maritime Agency, you get the Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority, you get the Sierra Leone Airports Authority. So all the agencies then they under the ministry. So now the committee now for oversee the work. What do they look for? They look for the policy, the administration, the finance, and issues like the agreement where they go sign with overseas partners. And then they for they do regularly for make sure say that they serve the interests of the citizens of Sierra Leone. So that's how it works.
All right. You also mentioned that parliaments get the right for review some of their agreement here periodically. Well, will I venture to say not only they have the right to, but they are required to? Is it not a requirement that they should?
They are required to because, okay, put it this way. If you have the Ministry of Transport, the Transport Committee forget an annual session with the minister, where the minister will present a review of the activities and all the agencies under. So when the minister they give a report to Parliament, for instance, Civil Aviation Authority is one of the agencies. So it will get for a report about the performance of any agreement under the Civil Aviation Authority or Sierra Leone Airports Authority. So now from that annual report, they went at the policy, finance, and administration. Now the committee can pick on and say, hey, by the way, we want to look at the progress on the operation of this airport. So it get for be a routine. And when they do that, they get for put out a press release for say, well, look, we want to look into these affairs here. We want to know what records will they ask for people then for give written evidence. You can either do that as an individual or as an agency. So from that written evidence, they now call people then for oral evidence. Then they combine the written evidence, the oral evidence, and all the reports, do a report where they go submit to the well of Parliament for all the, with recommendation for all the MPs there for debate. So it is part of the scrutiny mandate of Parliament, from committee to the main house. That is how the system should work.
Okay, there is a comment here by one of our listeners, but it's a little bit, it's not as legible for me to be able, despite the fact that I have glasses on, I cannot quite see it to read it. So I will try my best. So because we agree, say, every now and then, when these questions come in, let's comment on them or maybe respond to them. But now it seems like this person is saying, now you're saying it all. It looks like the example you have made is the right concept. The perpetual call to the discarding of the two, please forgive me because the letters are so small I can't see them clearly, of the two traditional parties, APC and SAPP, is not the issue of Sierra Leone. I beg to differ on that. It is. These are just names given to specific institutions. Our problem is the kind of individual that are being given roles of responsibility to govern the nation. I agree with you on that. We don't even need to go too far. The similarities with somebody like me to talk. You take Dr. Sandi, for example. He was minister under APC, was a minister under SAPP, was taken out, he's back in. And he's the man who went without checking, as we'll find out later. And I understand, say, he's an economist. We come and announce, say, effective January 1st. March 1st. Tollgate or toll road, the price will increase 300%. He's an economist. He's a PhD
Okay,
holder.
sorry to interrupt you there, sir. Okay, sorry to interrupt you there, sir. Since we talk about parliamentary procedures, what should happen, because it was an agreement approved by Parliament, before they may announce any increase in the effective date, which is a variation of the agreement in terms of payment, they should have taken it to Parliament for a review and justification and submit details of financial report and statistics which show almost people, and they use the report for justify the increase before Parliament go approve them for let them make the announcement say they don't get the increase. So
But
that is what should have been done, and that was what was not done.
That was not done. Okay, if you hold your thoughts, let me just take a caller, then we go continue. Hello, caller. Please tell which side you call from, and feel free for statement
Hello.
if you wish. Yes.
Hello, Mr. Sean. This is Omar they call.
Hello, Omar. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. As the what we elder, it is struggle, for explain how the procedure for the Parliament and voting in a Parliament. We get a conflicting situation wherein the procedure if we go on a Parliament, it need to happen rather than we get another procedure where we don't understand. You see, Mr. Shilo, it really, really discouraging. For instance, if you want book flight now for go saloon for December, let me see. If you check na internet to Sierra Leone, that na December, it costs like almost 1,500 or 1,200, 1,500. And if you book that same time for go Guinea Conakry, it costs around 600, 700. And from Guinea Conakry to Sierra Leone, a less than $30. So tell me true, who that in the right mind go direct when that difference so great? But you see, then you know that again, when government go sign contract, no mean say if you na APC, if for power vote for that pass that contract in Parliament. When the other government again and APC government serve right do a same thing, no me say pauper, you as APC parliamentarian for vote for that. But we get committee the way they said before ever a particular bill or a particular document they written in Parliament, they already don't take stands. In fact, then they already defend the document are public before ever the document they lay on a Parliament. So until we see a particular Parliament where it is seek the people interest, we go no say whenever they don't elect me for be a parliamentarian, this is only above an APC SLPP issue. This is a Sierra Leonean issue, a national issue. Whenever they get that, we go take everything away from Mr. Abbas Pundu. But really, when in terms of such things, sometimes it really balance the way they address issues. And we want to see all parliamentarians for do the same thing. And now this civic education will come in place. Because the one and when they try to get into the civic education, for let them know, say, waiting a nation building, how to contribute to a nation, it go take the next 30 years before the one they go grow up. Or maybe 20, 15 years before they go grow up. What about the grown-up ones that we already in our aim of affairs? So I feel say this now just like what we don't talk, and I see say the conversation don't the balance, we don't move from that partism. Because I watched the last program, I watched the programmers that even though I not get a chance for contribute, but we don't move from that particular system where we watching just APC, SLPP. At least now we discuss issues. So what we go for do now? Create the momentum around these issues that we discuss. So I then say go see and say yes, this is important. There is a Sierra Leone that is greater than SLPP and APC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Umar. As a matter of fact, along that line there, I go ask Mr. Mengot for making ask the technical room or the control room. We will post at some point an illustration or a demonstration of an airline ticket from a point of origin to Sierra Leone and how would they pay for certain things we already don't pay for on the tickets. So why we think, say, those things are helpful to Sierra Leone. I use the quick penny, slow 1 shilling example, that we want for build room in a day. We just think, say, if you tax and tax and tax and tax, that will make a difference. I also agree with you, because I think some people are beginning to get it, because it's tough for people to understand that until we move away from the SFPP, APC stuff and begin look at things on a national scale and begin for ignore who that they do. If now you want me one of the brother, all the position in Sierra Leone, or like now you papa self, what we're not capable of, we're not reach that level yet, but we try. Because it's like your brother, your sister, your party member can do no wrong. With the same action, if somebody else of the other party do them, you will say, oh, a terrible person, if I be kicked out. We see examples of that day in and day out. But it's true that some people are beginning to come around. For say, there is no winner here. Or we begin to see things through the lens of partisanship. It means APC, everything SFPP do now when they're in power, wrong. The same thing where SFPP to do, where APC to do, where people be the condone say right. And then if mina SFPP, everything where APC say can't be correct. Because now we, and like I always say, I don't understand why people are saying that we get power. If you belong to a political party, why you not think, say, the bigger thing for being a Sierra Leone, for you being a Sierra Leonean, why, and if we get power, why not use them for the good of the country? Why use them for the good of a few? Because I don't think the power is being even used for the good of the very political party. Then they misuse the power for benefit just a handful of the political parties, both parties. So it's not even benefiting people within the parties then. So people don't care for beginning using their brains. Put aside this tribal connection, put aside this regional connection, put aside this nepotism and all that in there, and just begin look at it one way. What is this possible to do so if it's good for Sierra Leone? If it is good for Sierra Leone, then if now your conclusion and it's okay. Nothing wrong with that. All right. But Mr. Mango, I don't know if you have any comments, but I was going to go straight to some of the.
No, I think let's go straight to the whole issue of the agreement, what was promised and what was delivered.
All right. Now, we're going to start with the airline situation. We just say we could talk in terms of what was promised and point by point. Can you tell us just very briefly what was promised?
Okay, let's start with, because when you enter into any treaty, right? I go back to the Constitution, section 118, subsection 3. It says no loan shall be raised by government on behalf of itself or any other public institution or authority otherwise than by or under the authority of an act of parliament, right? Now, what did that mean? It means that the Ministry of Transport and Aviation get certain laws them, then get aviation laws them, then get transport laws them, where means they can solicit support for infrastructure development. So now, when they say, waiting until we wait and go parliament, they say the reason why then they build this airport, now for increased traffic, because the small airport, the small wave in there, this new one where they promise, they say it's capable of attracting 90,000 passengers per month. Take the figure, 90,000 passengers per month. The current monthly passenger figure for Sierra Leone as at 2023 March, reference people like in Checkham, under logistics cluster, we give details of all airports, with monthly traffic at the airport, now 18,970. So in other words, now that we get now. So for let it move up to 90,000, there are things we get for do. Again, then say it's capable of handling 200 and about 10 flights per day, right? So with monthly flights, now 250. So in other words, they say that they build this airport, let attract growth. Let more airline go come. Then we get more passengers. And then they will use them as a transit hub. What do they mean by transit hub? Now place where an airline will come, he use them where he will take passengers then from different parts of the world and then use the airport for distribute them other side. But we talk about a situation where we not even get a national airline. Because if you take like Askai, one of the airlines in West Africa, a small country like Togo, then they use Lome as a transit hub because they get a national airline. Ethiopia Airways, they use Addis Ababa as a transit hub because they get a national airline. Kenya Airways, they do the same. So how can we move for attract 90,000 passengers monthly or 1 million passengers annually? So I think say them figures in there where them input saying that the justification for the airport, they don't explain how that they go happen. Because now if you look at the majority of people the way they go salon, now either people from the diaspora or businessmen with tourist traffic very, 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 very low. So the question is, the new airport, it don't do almost 1 year. Okay, we'll say then just begin. It attracts more passengers and more flights or less. Me when I talk to you, so as I can say, I started my career as an air traffic controller at Lunga Airport. I was there from 1976 to 79. At that time, we get almost 15 airlines where they operate.
Can you please ask the control room if we have it to put that on the screen?
I think the control room, if they have at the computer. Yeah. But now, we not get up to 8 airlines where they operate. And when you take the intercontinental airlines, then the only one we'll get now is Turkish airline and SN Brussels. Then next was a major continental airline or African airline, now Kenya Airways. Then we'll get a few in West Africa, when Askai and Air Peace, Air Senegal. Then we get Air Morocco. So when you look at even the number of aircraft and the number of flights, we're not able to reach that figure there. How will we reach that figure there? What's in the projection? Okay, now if you look at now, I can read through the time where me in did it, the airline that we've been get Nigeria Airways, Ghana Airways, Air Mali, Air Guinea, Air Afrique. The other one will get then a Middle East airline, Lufthansa from Germany, UTA from France, British Caledonian from Britain, Czechoslovakia from Aeroflot from Russia, KLM from Europe, Cubana from South America, and then Red Coat Air Cargo. And that's why they talk so. Will not be smaller airport to now. And one thing, even with this new airport, I can't hear you, sir.
Did we have Sierra Leone Airways then
yes,
also?
We had Sierra Leone Airways that was for internal flights.
Yeah.
And then we operate from Hastings. So you been get airfield in a Bo, na Tikonko, na Kabala, na Kenema, na Tongofield, na Bond. So we get internal airline. So you can see it's very different from now. So this airport now we don't get so. Yes, it's very nice. It's a modern structure, but can it generate the number of aircraft and traffic, considering the price of the tickets there now? and the increase in the charges. Okay, just for finish, let me just give some figures that will shock people. If we take the annual passenger throughput now at 227,649, then we take the increases there. If you take the $50 in and out, you multiply them by that figure there. Now 11,382,450. Then if you take the $100 where they say they don't put now as from 2024, which they call airport development tax, then they go give you another 22 million annually. So for the two alone, they talk about 34 million. But remember, I said the military said this is a build-up rate of transfer at no cost to the government. Yes, it was at no cost to the government, but it's at a cost to the passengers. And recently, when people are talking, they say, no, not $25 no they pay. The rest of the one they didn't have the ticket. Whether it didn't have the ticket or you pay them on arrival or departure, it don't make any difference. It means that the cost of flying to and from Freetown, from anywhere in the world, is more expensive than with neighboring Guinea or any other country in the Mano River Union.
All right. So the other question I get is, can you tell us, or can you break it down for we, what was promised, like construction of a new terminal that we will include presidential lounge, resealing of the existing runway, construction of a taxiway? What can you tell us what was promised, or if you get that?
Well, yes, that was there. Let's look at what happened. Look, Geddy Smith. There are some people where they say, well, na new airport. So other people they say, na new terminal. Right? That argument in the back and forth. So me go say na new air transit facility. Because the runway, na the same length of runway, when at 12,500 feet, where we don't get from time immemorial. What happened was that it was widened, then the taxiway for them people that we don't know, taxiway, now the pathway they at the end of the runway, that loop. Then, when I did the plane, they go around for wait for either takeoff, yeah, when it's ready for go. Then the apron now this part of the airport structure where they link you to the runway. So then at the surface things there. Yes, they build a new control tower. Yeah. But the air navigational equipment, they upgrade them. Then we get a new presidential lounge. We get a new business lounge. We get a new terminal. Then also, we get a new structure where you go say like, where we not been there before, where you come inside some of the big plane them, you not get for touch the apron. You go like a footbridge where they link to the terminal. But then for only larger planes. Because then smaller plane them, you go still get for cannon and take bus carry go to the terminal. So they use existing facilities like the runway, when not just rehabilitation and widening them, but build new structures then. Get new fire service, right? Get new presidential lounge, get new cargo terminal. That was what say. So it's a rehabilitation of the old to combine with the new.
All right. With that said, can you tell us what the promises were in terms of job creativity? You know, what the boosting of the project in tourism, increase in revenue for the government, and of course, you mentioned that the project say it could serve as a hub for cargo planes from the sub-regions. And then the terminal, this new terminal supposedly will have been capable of handling about 3 million passengers a year.
No, they said it was projected to 1 million, not 3.
Okay, 1 million. From
and 90,000 monthly.
Okay. from 270 something to 1
Yeah,
million, correct?
227,000
To 1 million.
annually to 1 million. Then 18,970 monthly to 90,000 monthly.
But now it seems like we are down to like 18,000, let's say 19,000
Well,
monthly.
it will take some time for law reach a then projected figure. Because like, okay, when they build any infrastructure, they build them for expansion. If you say this now the capacity at which are the aim for reach, you get for sure waiting you will do for reach that capacity there and at what period, which means you get for attract new airline, you get for make your airline competitive so your neighboring countries them. The other reason why people in the travel, you get for improve your tourism industry, but we don't see all them plan in it. Because at the end of the day, increase passenger throughput into an airport. People then go say it's early days. Yes, we will agree. From 2023, when they start to now 2024, now almost 1 year. They now look at the manpower situation. And we've been getting we waiting and do now, we get what we call Suma Group Sierra Leone. Right? When they manage the airport, when the Turkish people and the manager. Then some of the people that have been a work there, we see recently when they protest say they not even pay them the redundancy yet. So what happened, the airport management, everything they under this new company, then we still get Sierra Leone Airports Authority when then they take care of the technical aspect, which is like air traffic control, search and rescue, for maintaining navigational equipment. We then staff them where they under Sierra Leone, they don't reach 100. The job creation, yes, it was temporary. Then at the one the way they employ during the construction of the airport. But once the airport is done, now look at even the facilities at the airport. Now the management company, now then they take care of everything. So we will have to check whether there's been an increase in employment, an increase in businesses for Sierra Leone and the way they run. Because when you go to other airport in other country, you get like then courier shop, you get a shop the way you get restaurant. And people like can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think so. We get any restaurant they serve where they showcase for serve with African food them. Because the food in the country, me go eat me cassette and leave all that thing and I don't know if we had it. If people they listen to me, we don't travel, let them tell me. You know? And then facilities and because now they ancillary facilities, things like banking facilities, all that thing and all for be part of it. So last stop there. I think there's a comment on the, I don't know from where it come from. I don't know if you're able to read them for me.
Yes.
Deal with that.
Let me give it a shot. There was one before this, as a matter of fact, but this current one, our politicians don't have the interest of their electorate, because if they did, there will have been a review in Parliament on both the Tollgate and airport taxes, but haven't. That said, can you tell us these various steps that, based on these questions, which I'm sure you had all intentions of getting into, in terms of why now when there is because we wanted to talk about the similarity between the airport increase and the toll gate. And my understanding is that because of the outcry by the public of this announcement for the toll gate, Parliament put a break on it, and they said they want to review the whole process before they go decide whether to give a go ahead to the toll increase. Well, now there's a similarity. Like I say, already there's an increase in the airfare, and we not think say any different from the toll gates. So this question falls right in place. If the parliamentarians even get a basic understanding of what their role is in terms of then some of their agreements there, what we're going to, or whether it's the same old game as the previous administration used to do, because we no need for make any secret
Now,
about it.
well, to respond to that, during the inquiry or the preliminary, I would say the preliminary session for the toll gate, equally applied to the airport. The leader of government business, who don't know the leader of government business? The leader of government business, now the majority party in parliament, the person where they lead, he make a statement and he's right, say, for any treaty or agreement or contract where the government sign with a partner, whether national or international, before there's a variation in that agreement, it has to be brought to parliament for review and approval. And the variation in this case, it's referred to charges and payments, just like the variation in charges and payment for the toll. Now the same thing in terms of the payment for the airport, because if you look the airport development tax, previously I think it was $5. Now for 2024, it's $100. That's a substantial increase. You understand? It's a substantial increase. And that $100 there, it is charged per passenger.
Mm-hmm.
And what did that figure there? If you take the two charges there alone, when are the annual, the $25 and the other one where they put for the $100 for the airport development charge, if you times them by the number of annual passenger, it come up to $34 million annually. 34 million at current passenger throughput. So if you take 34 million, you times that by 10, then at 340 million. So if Nadani no more they pay for just two of the charges then, for 10 years, 340 million is about 70 million more than the loan will take. I stand corrected. So you can see, and remember, so we get for pay that loan day for 25 years. So equally, Parliament should call the Minister of Transport and the Director of Civil Aviation for let them explain why then charges then they were imposed effective from the 1st of March without parliamentary approval. Because it's a variation in the contract.
Well, this is the thing that we're so concerned about. First of all,
there's another statement, if you can read that.
Was the airport contract different from the toll gate agreement? Substantially similar. I can answer that, but Mr. Mengot, go ahead. Was the airport
No, it was
contract
similar. It came back to, when I go back to, wait here I start with what I quote section 118 of the Constitution, right? Subsection 2, we say an agreement entered into shall be laid before Parliament and shall not come into operation unless the same Parliament has approved through a resolution. Then you get subparagraph 3, we say no loan shall be raised by government on behalf of itself or any other public institution or authority otherwise than by or under the authority of an act of Parliament. So that is the similarity. And since it was an agreement, under normal circumstances, these authorities should be providing annual reports to Parliament for make sure say their agreements there, it's in line with what Parliament approved. Let them know what to say, like we'll get crisis now, when they increase the toll gate or increase the charges before Parliament is stepping. So Parliament bears the greatest responsibility. Then renege in their duty for scrutiny, then lawyer, when they then give the authorization. I see another statement there. If we can read that.
I can read that also. There are no longer any restaurants operated by the local people as there was in the old days. The food at the airport is minimal and extremely expensive. That's what this comment is saying. Okay.
I think somebody has actually supplied some of my curiosity. So
Okay.
where is we have a local content policy. How does that apply to what transpires in the airport? Because when you go to any country, I don't travel to many African countries, you go get shop where go show, we costumes them, where they wear, they craft them, how they make in our country. You go also get place where people then go eat with country food, with local cuisine. So because the airport, now the first impression where they can say a country, and when they left the country, now they give you memories.
Yeah.
So where are those things? Right? I don't want to go and drink coffee. I want to drink salon coffee because they produce coffee. You understand? Okay, I think that we get a lot of, there's other comments if we can read them. I like this session because it's very interactive.
Okay, I was going to take a call, but let me read this last comment.
Okay, take a call, then we'll go back to it.
Okay, I wish this person who sent in this comment can really elaborate on which the type for so we no misunderstand. He said the old airport did not fully meet the international standards. Please tell us, you who sent this comment, tell us what international standards are you referring to, and which are you point where you try to make here, because we want to welcome people the idea, but we want to be sure that we understand you, will not misunderstand you. In the meantime, while you're thinking,
no, just a quick one for just a quick response, because every airport gets what you call certification for ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization, which is based in Canada. So you get different categories of certification. If you not be meet international standard, there's no way any plane before landing. So I dispute that person in argument or in point as an aviation expert and somebody we don't work at the airport day. So let's take the caller now.
Okay, and very quickly, let me ask that person to forgive a factual basis. What you base in your statement about? Okay, the old airport did not fully meet the international standard. Let me know what in a factual basis. And please encourage him. We encourage him to engage us in this discussion. And let me take a call, at least. Please, caller, who side you call from?
Yeah.
And if you want, you can tell me your name.
Yeah, Mina concerned citizen. I call from the United States.
All right, sir. Concerned citizen, welcome.
Yeah, let me start from this end part where I just debate on the text when the person talk, because me, I work for United Airlines. Okay. And waiting Mr. Mengo they say na true. Me, I don't fly Guinea, I don't fly in Nigeria, I don't fly Gambia, I don't fly Ghana. So I don't fly most of the African country. Any airport, na international airport, as long as plane they come up from one country to another country, you take us international airport. The only way the person go tell me, the only airport, maybe na one terminal only we get. While other airport then get 2 or 3 terminal them. So because I don't know if they talk about international or local. As long as plane they come up from Europe, Canada, Salon, with a class we airport as international. So let me correct that side. The problem where the SLPP can face, when an Escoroma come, all the contract where the late president been don't sign,
the former,
now he can walk towards to. And now he can get the name because of that. So people they don't understand, say, now the late, how you call himself, Tijan Kabana, he sign all them contract then the way an S can finish. So now he can get the good name. The problem with Madabi, when he come, the mama where they not sign with the Chinese, and the amount where they don't negotiate, it been better for we forget 2 airports they like today, and then area then they don't develop, we been for bring more revenue and other things in the country. But when he come, he cut them off. So that no make sense. If an Escoroma been do like that, they let today, that name would have been they say, then they world best or world best. To me, if we go through waiting and Eskroma, then do the money where they waste na the country, we no need for congratulate them, but people they don't know. So, and where this man kind of government, all these failed contract the way APC sign, especially the Sierra Leone, Sirunko and all these things, when he come in, he block, he sees everything. Instead of he continue follow up, then CI go negotiate for change the wrong, he cut everything off. It can't happen now, Salon or they get revenue from inside Salon. And then he can make a wide broad government where if your income they be 100,000, but your expenditure they be 200,000. So how you go able to run that government day? So now it cause the problem. All what he campaign against, they been there in place. But you know they can't campaign, say they can't do this. Where you for bring your revenue, but you they think say donors them other things, other country then go help you to do that day. So now I'm making able conclude all a manifesto way they say, although in the TINAP say a conclude all, na lie. Free school, education and everything, you know get no revenue for do you abo pan donor. So I make the nothing not succeed. So if me can talk, I go stop here first like the other people them. And then okay, let's just complete this last side. We election right now. SLPP or APC no go ever save we. Let we try for a referendum before the next election. So that we go bring a conclusion, how you call them, government, where then go debate, say, if the election, the first round, nobody no win them, they let them bring a coalition government for negotiate how we go change the constitution and some of the laws, because they give lots of power to the president and the parliament. So I stop so far.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Mengot, we got some calls, but do you have any comment you want to make before we take?
I think so, if Goodluck gets the calls and come in, then we can able deal with them.
Right. Hello, caller. Please tell us where you're calling from, and if you wish, you can give your name. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Tell we where side you the call from, and if you wish, tell we your name. Hello. Let me try one more time. Okay. Well, in the meantime, while we're trying to get back to the callers, let me ask Mr. Mengo, you got anything where you want for Cesar, or let we go? Let we proceed with this, because we don't talk about Parliament, but with it, I think based upon what you hear Mr. Mengo to talk about, there is a total lack of due diligence on the part of. Please let the callers hold off.
Hello?
Okay, let me go interrupt you to say, yeah, caller, what's your name? Say the call from.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very clearly. Tell us who you are.
Loud and clear.
Oh,
Yeah, just tell us where you're calling from. You can tell us who you are if you feel like it.
very well, sir. Thank you very much to both of you. I call from Washington and a concerned citizen.
All right, thank you for calling.
My question why I get, especially about to Una too, Una have more knowledge about this. The question why I get really is this development plan, all this planning that we're talking about. I need to see where community is involved. In the sense that let me give you an example of this. Right now, currently, we now a community now Freetown Day, they fight with the government for a piece of land where the community they use as a soccer field and exercise and different things like that. With all the planning, what would they go on? We need to see a planning of how public space is important to the welfare of the community and the country as a whole. We need to see public space, parks, recreational centers, different things like that for people to gather, for community, for meet. So I don't know what you want to think about this and the aspect of this when it's so-called to development in the country, because it's very, very, to me, it's somewhat backward. It's backward that majority of the community will go to free local public space for meet. So anyway, I will listen for Una. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. We greatly appreciate.
Yeah, let me just, before you go, let me just answer to let me clarify something. When you talk about development plan, for instance, we have what you call the midterm national development plan. When economic and social plans them, we cover different areas them. But what you're concerned about is a perennial problem, especially in the area where now local governments now then get for do what would they call land use planning. And when they do the land use planning, and then they look at things there for zoning, where they look at housing space, they look like recreational space, they look inside, they put essential facilities, they look inside, they get transport. So this now under the Ministry of Lands and Housing and Country Planning, as distinct from Ministry of Transport, and as distinct from the National Development and Economic Plan, which is under the Ministry of Development and Economic Planning. So I think that my answer to me, the caller we just come. But his query was quite appropriate.
Well, with respect to that caller, in fact, I know of an instance, and these are all the things that really kill society, because in an upward mobility atmosphere, where would move towards improving lives, social conditions, we go to talk seriously how to improve the system. So what's in there happen, which we know, for example, in I don't care, they tell me about a situation where there was a community, this gentleman, they talk about local community, this scholar. There was an area where young guys go and play football or soccer. It was almost, I think, then saying it will join with the marketplace. Then it turned out, and I'm not trying to victimize a particular group or target a particular group, but this just show you how what you would call corruption will come all the way down to even community leaders. Well, the gentleman talked about community. And I don't care, a certain Lebanese guy wanted a piece of property that was community land that was being used by the community. Somehow he managed to have that land day, pay off the community leaders then get the land, he build it. Then when the local people then begin for protest, he was able to get police for begin arrest them. And these people say they felt so powerless because they couldn't even go to a lawyer. We don't have a judiciary strong enough to put an injunction, and what a community leader had and do, they may not have even transferred proper title, but not they own the land, and they not get authority for transfer title to a buyer. But they say this businessman built a 2-story structure and get man them at the area because the youth were so upset. They were targeting an establishment. So they get police, then begin arrest some of the young men there. And then at the end of the day, people were forced into accepting the situation as it is. And the community leaders were just given some token, they were bribed, and that was the end of it. So this just tell you, say, corruption not only at the top places, it has become a way of life in our country. So, and there are plenty of stories like that. Not just this one instance where somebody tell me, "Nah, I don't care." There are plenty of stories like that where people then go, now police go complain about their land being taken, and then the police says, "Sit down." Then the first thing the police go do, you will go complain, you will get the land. They go make you sit there for 5, 6, 7 hours. Sometimes even spend the night, because I know of another instance where somebody say that one day, complain with that. They sit in Dustin and say, "Okay, go sit down, wait, we'll talk to you." They did the whole day, spend the night there. You know, they're not even paying any attention to it. Just because you don't know which kind of legal step for take. The proper step, usually, if we bar association active, now forget public interest law from them, we'll go rise up for protect that person in piece of property by filing a petition with the court for an injunction, which we get a phrase we call injunctive relief, thereby just stopping the activity, the construction activity, until the court get the opportunity for examine the facts, you know, of the case. But even that procedure there is almost non-existent. It ain't at the books. Procedurally, the laws of Sierra Leone allow that. But now lawyers are almost crying the non-existence of that law there. Because then people say they're not going to get any relief for their client. So when you go to the lawyer, you say, "Well, then don't take me land. Please help me." He say, "Well, there's nothing I can do." So this is the reason why we need a strong judiciary. This is not going to have to do with APC, SFPP, because if the judiciary is weak, where do you poor people go? You can't go anywhere, because the judiciary is meant for deal with any situations in there. Now, when stay you own political party where you know the support kind of power, then you become a complainant or crybaby person. We all for join forces. We all know injustice when we see them. So you're not going for dinner power. You know, wrong is wrong, right is right, evil is evil, goodness. They all come in their own distinct way where we all get common sense to recognize that. So again, we get a policy. I don't want to talk too much because we get adopted policy that they will not dominate an issue too long, because we only get 2 hours on the show. But I want to pass it over to Mr. Mengot, but I also want for Aska, make it just explain to we, procedurally, what did the current Minister of Transport do wrong or did wrong, where it should have done, where it just grabbed and go announce within 30 days that there was going to be an increase, you know, in the toll gate. And what is Parliament doing now that Parliament should have done that they failed to do? And even the process by which Parliament is acting now, which to me seems like Parliament is trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the public. And this is my other issue. The parliamentarians, the politicians, and some of these government officials like Sandy, they really believe people are just that dumb. They can just come and say anything and then go get away with it. They're not even put thought into what they do. I can give you another example. One will be to get up this whole floor about the bosses. If when I remember recently, a young minister of information come, take time, give press conference, and begin talk about the various groups that where the percentages wouldn't get. You know, they talk about which group will form the organization for the operation of the bus, or the buses then, which group gets 50%, which group gets 7%, and then at the end of it all, with respect to in percentages, the way it taking time, say they explain, it was off base. They ended up with 106%, which means you're not even doing due diligence. Even when you talk to people and for take up the time, this is the contempt with which these guys treat the public. You don't take up in time for even add for say in figures they not tally if I go over, because they just don't care. You know, because if they care and have more regard for the people, and this is another thing that puzzles me about the president, because if I were the president, I would feel embarrassed. I wouldn't want you on my team. any further because it tells me you're not serious, you're not competent for the position. But I'm not the president, So, but I do not understand how a minister will come, take up time, we all know, me not good pan figures, me not a mathematician, but I know say 106%, not to 100%. So how did the minister arrive at that? To me, it's just carelessness, recklessness, disregard for the public, things say again for doing due diligence and taking time for understand what you can talk to the public. Just say something. And this is what I think it is. But without much ado, let me go back to Mr. Mengot. I go later, what you engage in mind?
Well, I think say unless there's other things on the airports, what I would say in conclusion with this airport thing, right? Just like where the leader of government business been say, if there's a variation in any treaty, right, or even charges for the use of airports facilities. And remember, this announcement was made in December, and it was addressed to the Association of Airlines. And some of them charges here, it's included in the ticket, and it's paid in dollars, which means these airlines now, them for pay them to the Freetown International Airport management, which is like Suma group of companies. So if government want to raise revenue that way for support an existing treaty, they need parliamentary approval. And I think just like the parliament stepped in for the toll road, I also think say parliament for stepping for then increase here in charges for the airport. Especially since most of the charges relate to payment to a company that was given a concession. So they forgive it, same like how they asked for the toll road, they forgive statistics of the number of passengers. And just like what I give the example, then charges they will then put almost revenue go raise for justifier. Because if na extortionate revenue they raise, from what you say, parliament for stopping and look into it. So let's go to the next segment when at this toll road. Unless you get anything, let's look at the contracts for the toll road. And certain things the way people in the talk. Well, I clarify. These are the user in my capacity as a highway and transportation engineer. People in the say, normally, if you get for toll a road, correct me if I'm wrong, because America get a lot of toll roads, and other African countries, then they will get a lot of toll roads. Say, forget a toll road, you cannot do a toll system without an alternative road. In my knowledge, that is not true. Because in most countries then, in West Africa, the reason that they introduced toll and other parts of Africa, now for raise revenue, for maintain the road, right? Sometimes the government can provide alternative road. But it not necessarily means it all the time. But their road then when they can toll, we not get alternative road. Now their road they will call strategic highway, regional connectivity. But this one, we see a roadway start from an area where I was saying now almost a peri-urban area now from Hastings. So nowhere in the world would you have 3 tolls over a distance of 62 kilometers. And the bad side of the toll is that they started paying for the toll before they finished the road. So when they put the first toll gate in Hastings, people will begin pay until they're done. Then the next thing we're wrong with that agreement. The other thing we're wrong with the agreement, none of us saying a completely new road and build. This was an existing road. When at the only gateway to the rest of the region. All they did was to expand them from a single lane each section to a dual carriageway, a dual lane. So, is it justified for them to spend all that money there for Duam over a 25-year period? So, like when they send the agreement, what was agreed, the people that were being they manage the toll, the CRSG, therefore produce annual reports, which include annual accounts of revenue, traffic volumes, and also whatever work that they do, it therefore be verified by an independent engineer. All that in the contract. And if you do a new road, unless there are major accidents, the maintenance cost is very low. And remember, these people have a 10-year tax concession, and they're collecting 90% of the revenue. So can they tell us to date, almost they don't collect and almost left? These are the things the parliamentarians therefore ask for. Let me stop here. Then if you get any question, then I'll go to waiting at the bad effect of their increase here based on the category. Because I'll therefore explain the category there to the people that way they listen. Because there's 6 groups that they will then charge tariff. And you get 3 where actually get the most impact on the socio-economic development of the country. So let all fire there first and give you a chance if you ask any question for which I don't say or any more probable you want to do.
Okay, now make a step back because I don't want to let Parliament get credit where they not deserve. I say so because they say, okay, Parliament is looking into this thing about the Tollgate. But they are only looking into it not as a result of being sensitive to the unreasonableness of the increase. They are only responding to it because of the outcry, the public outcry. So when Parliament now said and they look into this, they should therefore be viewed with suspicion because Parliament has become an instrumentality whereby they go back and see how they can cook things up. I hear Speaker Bundu, they talk say, then they look into it because it talk, for example, for say, the laws or the agreements are binding. So not to the issue that they look into. What are the agreements binding? No matter of whether procedures were followed. Well, it's obvious procedures were not followed because Parliament did not do the due diligence. And we get a practice in Sierra Leone, which is a common practice, that the executive or the president and in group, then they go, then sign agreements contrary to what the law requires in the country, contrary to the laws. Then they bring then they do the agreement, then they bring the agreement in the Parliament for ratification. When are the other way around it for be? They have to take the agreement to Parliament. Parliament need for review them. Then by review, then therefore get certain various committees of Parliament to look into the reasonableness of the agreement from the standpoint of the country itself. Then when Parliament agreed and bring them back into Parliament, what the committees then review them, bring them into the general body in Parliament for make them proceed with discussing it. But by watching it happen in Australia, all this is not being done because the government has to go and sign. I don't even call them binding agreements because this is what the point I want to make now. If a government
hold on, sir. You're a lawyer. Let I read a section of the Constitution which justify what you they say. Because we lack for refer people and the Constitution, nine are the primary law in the country. Under section 118 of the Constitution, subsection 3, let I read them back, then you can break them down for me, sir. It says, no loan shall be raised by government on behalf of itself or any other public institution or authority other than by or under the authority of an act of parliament. So it simply means before even governments get one raise that loan day or treaty, then therefore go to parliament for say, well, this loan here we want take, right? Is it within the dictates of the constitution when at section 118 subsection 3, or under which act of parliament or authority will they raise that loan day? So that the first part down the way means say parliament need to be consulted before they even sign the agreement. That is how I interpret it.
That is true.
From your legal point of view. Yeah.
And what is so bad, we'll get a parliament that is led by someone who I understand is a lawyer. But again, when they talk about the due diligence, because even if you're not a lawyer, no matter which profession, whether you're an engineer, you're a doctor, if you don't keep up with the current event in your profession, you could become rusty. So I think what is happening now, Speaker Bundu, and in cohorts them, they're not doing due diligence. And this is what can lead to all them problems they are now what we're running to in terms of agreements being signed before they are brought into parliament, and then they say for ratification. But you can't ratify an act if parliament itself had not gone through the proper procedure when it's supposed to go through. This is the problem. And so tell me that is not lawlessness. If there are laws to be complied.
Sorry, sir, there's a comment there. If we can take that comment there and see what's in the person they say.
Thank you. Thanks to Messrs. Mengot and Shillon for their invaluable contribution in highlighting the problems and issues affecting the development of Sierra Leone. You're quite welcome, sir. In conjunction with that, let me just take a call. Living up to the spiritual, we say we'll walk for make people not stay on the line too long. Let me take a call, then I will move on. Hello, caller. Please tell us what side you call from.
Yeah.
And feel free to give
yeah, this is not concerned citizen call again.
Okay, sir, go ahead.
Exactly all waiting they explain a day in place. But my own question to you now, this explanation not go change nothing. How we go change this party politics? Because what you facing so, waiting they explain so, now because of party politics. If you can remember where SLPP win, after the election, the APC was not the parliament. But then say, most of the people that will win at the APC, because they not be resigned, now the consolidation fund or how you call it. They mean they get money from them, that area they then while they run their campaign. So when they win, now the petition and the way they rage against them. We make finally the court, when the judiciary way corrupt, go take them all out, then eventually the SLPP can get the majority. I don't know if you remember that, because I believe
yes,
that happened.
Yeah, you're right.
And then before me they left salon, let me make it clear. Now two-tier justice day now the whole world, any country. We debate always on we police and we enforce, we force. The problem starts from the court. And again, at 2 instances where me know before me they left salon. Okay, the policeman they right now na treat. And they perform in duty. They arrest somebody who commit crime. They forward the case na court. Then when the case reach na court, the fine way and go get the lawless person is so low than nothing less. Then that person they come, he pass before the police. A shumoram, how we can say shumoram, like say, look me where you've been put in a court. Now me this the pass through. How you want let that police they do the next time? Because when they say oh, police, then they take bribe, then they do this, then they do that. If we not start from the court, or we not amend the laws them inside the constitution where the courts they pass verdict, we dare they give bad name to the police them. I remember one issue now about the street for parking, not parking. When Lebanese slap a journalist for parking, where he say na minister or whosoever get the right for park day. So why the journalist park day? Another issue there. Last one again. A Lebanese B1 PQ we been they choram. We been they take care of the households or whatever. Then be the pikinte in brain, nearly blind. How that case they come? Then fight until nothing not come up behind that. So the two-tier justice went on there because of party politics. Let me ask ourselves now, how we go try for amend where the judiciary go work by himself, where the parliament go work by himself, and the presidential work by himself, we not interfere in no go day. Then we go see Salon through. But always through they explain so it ain't in place. But the implementation not right. Inside the court right now, justice delay, justice denied. If the poor person get wrong, quick, then they pass justice. But if the money man get wrong, it go take 10-30 years before that case they pass verdict. So now my own contribution down there. So let we ask ourselves, how ways the means where we go change this? Because now the party politics don't spoil everything. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thanks for calling. We wish you continue listening to we from time to time or all the time. Okay? Thanks a lot. Let me take another call. Hello, caller. Who's side you call from?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Sharon again, Mr. Mango. This is Will Mustafa. First of all, I go want to correct this caller. Maybe the information when you not get right because you don't talk about it before again. The parliamentarian the way them pull na parliament, we say most them work. Now only one person now in them charge say he not resign. Go na Usman Timbo. Now he go na court. He court they argue say he resigned February 2017 right on time. But why make them pull him? They say if you don't get 1 year intention plus 1 year time. So if you don't resign 2 years, that's what the court go say. Where the constitution talk say if you don't resign 1 year. So make it just know say not to all the other people they say they vet like Shiraji, one small bobo, they say the youngest parliament. They say most of them are violence then. They say they vet or malpractice. Now make the APC been talk say if now say it be them say the election are not avoid if you pull them people in the common apply for that reason. But as we all know the judiciary, they not go do them because they only want to go in the powers that be tell them. So I want to get now only one parliamentarian nine them talk say not to most that now Usman Timbo. He count in case he read the verdict, then say yes, you resign 1 year, but if you don't get 1 year intention plus, say before you resign, don't the constitution talk. So I just want to make you get this, make una know the judiciary who get a salon. Because most of these things people are not aware, like we this scholar they talk. And if I just say a small thing about the loans of Sierra Leone, the problem with salon they continue for fail now because we not get a country, we get a business model. any part of the world, loans not a bad thing, but it depends on what you go do with the money. So we dey go take money for can pay salaries, and they can't give you money, we give you a loan or so. Now then they eat am back on I didn't call those things the way World Bank or IMF they give consultant them. Now they need the money. They say we not get throughout this. They say 3.5 billion. We Madam you don't add. There is no capital loan there apart from the $3 million of they say that network that phone company Sierra Leone where then we take that the only capital loan that they will take. All the rest now for can do kalu things them. Pay this, pay that, pay this, pay that. Now they will tell me. So, but all of this why this about people are now aware. We just they say, oh, the loan don't increase, the loan don't increase. Loan in any business, loan are fine thing. For instance, if one can start business now today, and they go to a bank, one can give me £10,000. Who they give me that £10,000? Then I go open my shop, I buy the things there, I rent the shop. Then I told you if I sell and I get profits, then I pay back the loan. That's my make loan a good thing. But salon loan, not if you can do anything. No. If you look back, you gotta just talk quick on this the things they don't spend money on the airport and all that things them. The biggest problem I get with those things, first of all, nobody no check if the money wouldn't talk say they spend on that toll road now 161 or 270 pound that terminal. This not all the problem they get because somebody can go spend 100 million. He say I don't spend 200 million. Nobody checks it and make you know the unseriousness of the state. Say we not just say better camp in the building any high cost not a problem. The building is there and the president go commission. They make the scene. I mean the occasion. Then dance people they eat they scatter. Loan they add. We depend on this kind of problems. Then the government again they start for give excuses then here excuses then there. So that make me they tell everybody say I always used to talk up. We are not ready yet to move ahead economically because the thing that we make we go before we make we invest. Salon are the only country in the world we get all that mineral. We don't get no shares, no investment in those companies. Even the shares what we talk about now concessionary shares we not buy them. We're not serious for let we move the economy go before. A very serious nation. Not to remember this president, the other power come where we talk so we get the fastest growing economy. It's the same. Whose investment we left? Nothing. So it depends on the one the way go school, the one the way get people the one the way the pampati business, men telling people see if you really want for your economic situation change, now stop for vote for the party the way you don't vote for 100 years, nothing has changed. Now thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll get two callers. Just quick comment. This is the reason why we keep saying we all, if we love Sierra Leone, we will try hard honor this tripartite agreement. Make the minor or the small political parties they not die. If they die, there goes democracy in Sierra Leone. If Sierra Leone is left in the hands of APC and SAPP, Sierra Leone is doomed. Sierra Leone will never be able to raise its head above water. It always will be under the water because, like Mr. Mustafa just said, we just don't have serious people who want to run government. We don't get them. We don't get people who articulate a vision for the country. We don't see any president of late who they express outrage by hearing that a minister them thief or then do underhanded stuff. You see, we're not seeing any sign of that. It's like a president looks the other way. I mean, somebody need to come tell me what are this difference we can see between the two major political parties. And if you notice the two major political parties, then they fight so hard forget absolute dominion and control over the politics of Sierra Leone. You know, they refuse to accept the fact that there are people who don't believe in them, who rather join a minority party, even that party did not ever get majority. And it is in the best interest of Sierra Leone that we have minority parties then. We'll go play, somebody talk about a coalition government. We'll go play that role there, as we've seen in the past, because we'll get a history of that. You see, we'll get a history of that. But if we fed short-sightedly, kill the small party then, this is a price we will pay for generations, because we have two parties then we're not serious at all. Now, that said, we need to talk to Mr. Mengot. They give you some breakdown on some of these things about the toll road. Now, very quickly again on the toll road thing, we think, say, as we are talking about the toll road increase, would present an outrage. Equally outrageous is the increase in the airline fee, where you reduce a tax from $5 to $100. That is ridiculous. Where do you see any such raises around the world? And this is not a successful economic country. So you wonder who are the administrators. Once upon a time, when I used for broadcast with a co-host, they always blame the president of not having the right people then. Or he wonder whether some of the people that they put in a team are really trying to do him harm, or then they promote, or maybe not the kind of people that they want, we're not going to do anything good for the country. And then I also would like, because we also get a situation where Dr. Sandy, we can talk about this increase about the airport. Admit say, and the toll road, admit say, read, in fact, most of, again, he has little or no knowledge of the agreement signed. And because the basic understanding of that agreement today, 25 years, then go collect profit, then go collect interest and the principal by the toll being paid. Then when that is paid, and that is subject to 25 years, is not written on stone. It means we get for review year after year after year. And that loan day may be paid in 20 years, in 15 years. And if you reach that maturity stage day, the agreement ends and the process reverses. Sierra Leone for begin get, if the toll continues, first of all, it's arguable that we toll for continue, because if we don't pull the money through toll, that should be the end of it. The road should be open, free. But if somebody get for begin collecting, and the government of Sierra Leone for collect, not to the foreign company. So this make me feel, say, there is deal within a deal. You get a handful of Sierra Leoneans who are in partnership with them companies here, where they come invest in Sierra Leone. So they are looking out for themselves, not for the country. So we're going to need for Mr. Mengot for help way out for analyze that aspect there. So now where Parliament don't take them over and sit and look into them, what you for expect, because I agree with the speaker, we say the contract is a valid contract. Well, to determine the validity of a contract, there are always way out. There are many ways, but there's one important word in contract we then call unconscionability. Unconscionability, meaning if a contract is such as to be so lopsided, as to be so unreasonable, as to promote nothing but injustice, inequity, that the court should step in. So when you try to determine the validity, a contract is not always written on stone. So I don't agree with the speaker. I will just say, well, not to the validity of the contract. The contract itself may be invalid because of the unconscionability nature of it. A good example would be if I say to a 19-year-old who desperately need money, he come to me and say, Mr. Shilon, do sir, I go pay you anything. Lend me $100. I say, well, I will lend you $100. But here's the condition. Every time you pay me $1, every time you pay me $50, that $50 they go equivalent to $100 to $1 or out of that $100. So you pay me $50, you still owe me $99. You know, or you pay me another $50 when a $100, you've only paid me $2. Will you ever be able to pay me that next day for finish paying me? No. Is that agreement, whether we write time or not write time, is it unconscionable? Yes. Did you enter into it with your own free will? Yes, you did because of your circumstances at the time. The court can look into it and say, no, this is not right. You know, equity, and there's another contractual remedy called equity. Equity dictates that the court look into it and modify the agreement. So when I pay you $50, it's not going to only equate to $1 out of the $100 where I owe you. Where I pay you $50, now $1 no more come out of the principal. So I don't agree with the speaker at all. The trouble we're going to Sierra Leone, once they say you're a lawyer, people believe you're a contract lawyer, you're a constitutional lawyer, you're a health lawyer, you're a civil rights lawyer, and it is not so. There are specialty. We don't know all the confusion what we get. We don't hear anything about the Attorney General's office or in departments, then they talk about anything on that terrible agreement there. So I just want to bring that up before I forget. For say, I don't agree with the speaker at all, that the contract is binding or cannot be challenged. It can be challenged in court because of the two remedies that I just bring up. Equity as well as unconscionability. That said, Mr. Megan, make me go back to you, sir. I know I hope the caller will just let Mr. Mengo to make a comment and then we'll continue.
Now, I think in fairness to the caller, don't keep them waiting. Let's take the two callers, then I go round up and talk about the toll gate because we'll get about 10 more minutes.
All right. Hello, caller. Tell me, what's side you call from? And tell me your name if you want to.
All right. Mr. Ceylon and Mr. Mengo, good evening.
Good evening.
I appreciate Una for bringing them to vital and important topic this night. My contribution where I want the specifically about the you see many times would only depend so much the way how the Western world they think. But at the same time, we not intend for implement what you don't read, what you don't learn, what you don't see. For instance, Mr. Mengo, you say you work in the airport, which is true, and Mr. Woody talks so. I worked in the airport in the 80s. But the current airport, many of you know, they say a new airport, not a new airport. Let's be frank and plain about it. It's a new terminal. But sometimes when people then they make decision in that country, then they both say then they bring development. But the question where one person go ask, development for Uda. Now, if you go currently or presently in a salon, you see the environment of Lunge and the inhabitants the world did. You will not say people in the suffer because of the airport. Let's take, for instance, the old terminal, on that side there. Many people, they don't develop that area there. And socially and economically, they get literally and nothing for survive. But when them people here come, then they come with them fancy developmental ideas there, where somebody go say na perforated ideas, they know they even give consideration to the people them where they within that environment there. Like for instance, Mr. Mengo, you made mention of the local content policy. They ask if they sell local food at the airport. Well, apart from the taxation at the airport itself, the natives of Lunge town or village, they don't get access, no more within the premises of that airport there. Then they over 500 meters away before they enter from the main Lunge road, Airport Local Road, a gate there. Even the taxis there, they don't get access for enter the airport. Unlike the old airport who you know, Mr. Mengo, the Lunge people, they go and survive there. All right, let's think about them people that will be don't develop na that other side. Buildings the day, bars then day, hotels then day. All of a sudden, nobody no care about that. Then just sweetly say that they will make another terminal. Now that side they don't become a ghost area. Do you know of Lunge people that they suffer? I know they talk about the taxation. This I know I'm bringing a cap. June Abidin Asalo.
All right, I just want to remind you for say you're out of time. You're out of time. If you can wrap up what you to say because we don't run out of time.
Then charge me 1,300 pounds from Airmoro from here, London here to Salon. When I shot for Guinea, it come up to 702 pounds. I go take taxi from Guinea to the border. I pay 40 pounds. You just read the maths. It makes sense? Dear, don't forget, you see, Mr. Ceylon, you're not a lawyer. When sometimes then they refer to constitution, this law, people then they make law for suit their own purpose. That specific individual that they see them, they think about a policy, we then go say that they go channel and the parliament for make a bill.
All right. Thank you so much. I know say you get plenty more for say, but we get some time constraints now. Mr. Mengot gave a lot for say. We'll get some other callers on hold who may not be able to go to. So there, thank you. Your point is well taken. If we not go back to you, we hope you will listen to it next week again, where you will get an opportunity for continue this point where you make. Mr. Mengot, let me back to you.
Yeah, I mean, you said we get any caller. I think say if they call then if we can take two more calls, then we'll round up.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, now let me look at the final effects. What I go let people then know. Now this thing don't go parliament, right? Definitely, parliament not go put them on hold. What they go do? They will just play around with the figures, right? And now look at the toll tariff. You get different category them. Category 1, group 1, na 3-wheel motorcycle them. We na keke. 2, na sedan taxi. 3, na the SUV, jeep, minibus, and medium bus them. We done mostly like them Waterloo Pada. But the last 3 groups, now go cause serious problem. Group 4, na coach, more than or 18 passenger seats, light truck, medium truck, 10-wheel fuel Bowser. That's what they say. Then they move out from 18 Leone'S when are 18,000 old Leones, to 40 Leones, when are 40,000 old Leones. Then group 5, when are the heavy trucks them, semi-trailer, when are they carry them food them. From 183 Leones, or 183,000, to 700,000. Then the one where they carry petrol, in now from 100,000 to 250,000. But the one for petrol, and say, where it go pay the 3 toll. So if they pay 250,000, because some man still get that 250,000 that they aid, for 3 toll gates, one way, then a 750,000. Which means fuel price go up to the region. And people then lead fuel not for vehicle no more. So man get generator and all that thing. But the one way they move from 183,000 to 700,000, then flatbed truck, and then they take like then cement, then rest them and everything. It will get serious, huh?
Sand.
It will get it will get serious effect on the economy. And even the one for them big boss them. Because some of them boss them, they now, then they take people the way they travel. You know, so when they boss them, they begin for pay 40 one way, then 120,000. They go just get for pass that cost day to the passenger. And remember, now government now they set fares. That is another thing where we don't argue against it. Even when government they set fares, now one thing no more than can look where they can change fares. Now when fuel price go up. So the quick question is, will the government now adjust the fares? And if they adjust the fares, the passenger fares, it not going to affect people there for travel. It not going to affect the cost of goods and services. So however much we look at, this will get an effect on the economy. So now, let Parliament be transparent. Because as they say, let CRSG come, give us statistics for movement of traffic for the past 7 years. Almost they don't collect, almost left on the loan. Then we can able to decide whether for freeze the increase them or for increase and the way we come. For that one, I talk one thing when they talk, the one when they move from 183 to 7,000, then big truck, then say that because now they cause damage on the road. Not a toll fee they take for reduced damage by then big truck in there. We get policy for axle load, where Salona adopt. Now the one of the only country that now the ECOWAS will not adopt that treaty today. Because we forget we bridge them. They mining companies they get we bridge. Why for God's sake we not get we bridge them for make sure say then lorry where they overload, not they cause damage on the road. So now the policy that they where Parliament self get for look into alongside this consideration for the toll gates. I think saying that I will let for round up for let people understand waiting at the ripple effects of them price here. But I can make people know say they're not gonna stop them unless there's a good case, they will just play around with the figures. Because if you remember again, this same Mr. Speaker, one time in there, we done another two we'll talk the other day, we go renew in vehicle, we then charge them more, because also they may not privatize the people who they do vehicle inspection. He comments say if they can do this to Mr. Speaker, he wonder what thing they will do to the ordinary man. And from that time they will ask, say, let them bring that treaty today for review, for check. Today, they not bring and come. So if one judge by that, I feel to say, with Parliament, I not get confidence say they will do anything in the interest of the people. So let's stop there.
Okay, to add to that, this is the reason why when people in the talk about the weakness of the judiciary, I don't think the judiciary is any worse than Parliament. If you look at the performance, in fact, if you want to lay blame, you will lay blame more so on Parliament than even the judiciary, because this is you deceive the connivance with third parties them, the Parliament with the third parties them, for really rip off the people, because you cite one example of the speaker and that statement they will make. But there was also another instance in which when that 25% tax was raised, I think security tax at the airport, and they use the word tax, then if the law is clear, I cannot cite a section that only Parliament can authorize taxation or taxation can only be by act of Parliament. Then the speaker jumped up and said they were unaware that Parliament had been bypassed, and then quickly summoned the minister and everybody. But what happened? Because that's what I'm afraid will happen this time again. They meet, then play to themselves, then they go back. The $25 taxation stick. They have that $25 security tax. They're not changing them at all, even though it will not go into effect without Parliament knowing about it. So this is the trouble with Sierra Leone today. We'll not get a serious Parliament. We get a Parliament where the clerk of the Parliament is part of the executive, is an appointee of the executive. We'll get a country where the opposition, where they cry foul, then help for weakening the judiciary when they get power. Okay? Because the best example of a case we can cite is the Samsumana, the Aneskoroma v. Samsumana case. And we know people are aware of what happened, because it was because of the weakness of the judiciary that the president ended up getting a victory against Samsumana. It was not in the interest of the country. So these are some of the things we look at. So we can't just begin points and some of the things there without pointing fingers the other way. So until we reach a point, and now we see where APC, they connive with SAPP for actually kill the small political party them, will go be to the detriment of the country. They're not they try for say, oh no, SAPP when I can't do this and I can't do that. They really want them with SAPP for share the power and cut off all the other party them. Well, APC and SAPP cannot have it both ways. If they are not ready to try for improve the political condition of the country, then things say this now powers and with them for the use personally, because people like me would not even raise issues like the police get too much power where they're not supposed to forget. And this go way back to Pashakin time, even Albert Magain time. Would they use the police or would they misuse the police? Instead of them being law enforcement, they become an arm of the political party in power, violating people and constitutional rights. You see? So if we don't have the police, for they in charge of law enforcement, we don't violate the law. Parliament, where they pass the law and enforce the law, then they pass, then they say not to comply with them. Then they expect the public to comply. The executive, now they comply with laws. Then they pass laws, then they try to implement acts them of Parliament, where Parliament pass, some of which are unconstitutional, some of which have not been challenged, and then believe say they can do that, but nobody else get for. So the whole issue, the authorities them are the number one lawbreakers. Then how are we going to make a better country? So unless they talk about how to straighten things out, Parliament, for example, the parliamentarians. Now, a place like North Carolina, even America, yeah, when you win election for going to Congress, you go to the Kennedy School of Government in Harvard, and North Carolina, yeah, we get the UNC School of Government. Then even when you become a judge, then they go try to orientate you, for make you understand your role in society now as a judge. As a congressman, that your role are different, and which is expected of you and your contribution. That don't say they're perfect now, they get their own ways. But there are certain institutions in place you can only go so far before then check you. But we not make any effort for even do all of that. We not educate with parliamentarians them, because they end up feel say when they go to Parliament now for just get brown envelope, and we all know what the brown envelope is about. You know, start with BO. If it still goes around, It was a common thing in the Anascoromat place, of which President Bio himself was a beneficiary when he was not in power. So these are all the things killing with democracy. So when I will see big difference between the two parties, more power to them, but we don't. Some of us don't. Until then, unless my co-host has some comment to make, I want to say good night to everybody. Thanks for listening. Please, if you get any question, we will not answer. We will not take your call. Next time, please call. We'll give you priority if we know. Ms. Mango, do you have anything else you want to say, sir? Good night.
Well, I just want to wish everybody an accident-free week, a fruitful week. Then I get be sane in body, mind, and spirit. And until we meet next week, we'll continue to discuss this thing about the country and hope say we all collectively go make a difference, because corruption started with me and you. We want jump line, and we support people, and because of we school will go, we tribe, we religion, and we party. So till we meet next week, Nami de say tata from Surrey in the UK, and we wish you all well.